Alright, this time the quick speed shot. Look, I'm a carpenter. It's part 1 of the oak bed floor build of the Model A hot rod shop truck. I'm a professional, don't try this at home. Alright, bam, you can see I got a thing laid out here, but let me go back in time a couple steps and I'll show you where I started. Alright, here's my oak supply here. What I have, I got 2 different things. These are old bed rails from my college dorm room beds, and I think they're white oak. They're 6 inches wide, like probably 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch thick. But they're all kind of like machined nice, and they're a little banged up. They're 5/8 actually. They're a little banged up. I got like 12 of these. They're like 6 feet long, 6.5 feet long. But they got these holes in them where they were threaded together. And they're alright, but they're a little like more modern-y finished look, and I'd like to go with something a little more rough. So what I have over here is I got some red oak that came from my dad's house years ago. It's a rough sawn, 1 inch thick, and they're 6 inches wide roughly, most of them are. But it's a little bit dirty, but it'll sand up nice and then put a little stain on it. It'll have an antique-y look. So I've got a whole big stack of these. And I think I'm going to use these because they're wider boards, so there'll be less of them. Plus, it's going to give that real original like oak look to it. Like the original bed of the floor of the truck had red or white oak in it from Ford. So I think I'm going to use these. I think it's going to be a real nice look. They'll be real durable. Put a little polyurethane on them. They'll be super strong for in the back of the truck. Here's the original floor out of that box. It's got all kinds of miscellaneous shape boards. They kind of just winged it, I guess, when they were making the pieces, but you know, they're just pretty rough. Got some rot. Here's your spring cover for the rear cross member. But these are still bolted in here to the original cross braces from the box. And these boards are milled both sides so they can put them in either way. But that's the original 1929 Ford floor there. I saved it because it's original. And we're just going to do all straight wood. I'm not going to put the metal strips back in. Just going to have all wood in there. Alright, bam, look at that. The bed floor is all done. Well, maybe not quite. So the next step is to try to figure out how to mount this whole shebang here. I need some kind of cross brace action, and these are pretty heavy. Oak's pretty heavy. So I'm trying to think out how to make my cross members work. And I think I'm going to have one in the front, one in the middle, and then down here on the back of the box, I'm going to use another piece of oak with angle iron. It's going to sit down here and probably have to like 2 feet that I'm going to bolt into this somehow. And then the last support will be sitting back here, but it'll cap off. It'll be 3 inches tall. It'll cap off this with wood on the back, so you won't be able to see under any of this. So I think the best course of action here is I've got this 2-inch angle iron, and it's like 1/8 inch, but it's pretty light. And I'm worried about weight now. So I think what I want to do is I want to box in the end of this by cutting off a piece and flipping it around and making a 2-inch by 2-inch box. And that is going to come over here and sit on the bed rail where the bed bolts are. And these will bolt down across here, one in the front, one in the middle, and then we'll use this back one here. But that'll give, these boards are plenty strong enough to be able to span this. It's like 55 inches, plenty strong enough to span this with just like one cross member in the middle, then one in the front and the rear. Alright, so I'm making the spreader pieces here. This piece wasn't long enough, so I had to weld another section on. But I've gone and welded on those end pieces like I said is going to. And then this will just sit right down here, and then we'll bolt the wood right onto here. So this one's cooling. Okay, I got the mounts bolted in here. I painted them last night. They're kind of dry, I guess. Good enough for what we're doing. So they're bolted down in here nice and tight. These are going to have quarter 20 carriage bolts down through here, so plenty of action, but this will be super strong, and we'll be ready to go. Who knows, you had to be a carpenter to work on these things. Well, actually, early Fords, you do have to be a carpenter. Nice. So this is the back piece here. Get in there. Oh. Need to round the corners a little bit. The board's going to stick back past us about 1.25 inches or so, just be in front of the tailgate. What I think of how I want to mount this is, I got the gas tank bolts here. I can take a piece of angle iron, drill it, bolt it down to the gas tank bolt, and then I think I can bolt it onto the surface of the yoke here, one on each side just to hold this down, and then I'll get a piece of 1-inch angle iron, and we'll carriage bolt it to the oak here, and it'll hang off the back, and then the carriage bolts for this will go down through the angle iron on the back side. Alright, so this took way longer than I thought it was going to be, but the weather got nice outside, so I was able to open the door for a while, so that's nice. But here's my backboard. Here's my 1-inch piece of angle iron that's going to be for the carriage bolts. I've made over here on the gas tank mount 2 pieces of angle bracket that bolt to the gas tank bolts, and then they bolt through here, and then I got a third bracket that goes in this nutsert here that bolts on the outside. So I got to weasel this thing up into here like this. Get in there. I'm going to paint this all later because I'm running out of time. I want to get this all built and go from there. Aha! Perfect. Okay, so now finally we can start mounting these boards. And I think how I want to do this is I want to build this with all the boards long hanging out the back, and I'm going to run a straight edge across the back of the box and come in 1 inch or whatever it is to the tailgate. It's probably a little bit less than that, but come in at a straight line, draw a pencil line, and saw these individually. There we go, do that. Do that. Okay, that'll about be my notch here. This is unscientific right here. The unscientific way, but I'm going to start it on this one, get the small notch cut out of here, and then when I put the other board on here, I can use the straight edge and go across and line this up and get my dimensions going a lot better. So I'm going to take this hole saw, drill these corners, and saw this centerpiece out. Now the slug's stuck in there. Dang it. Why doesn't somebody invent a hole saw where the slug doesn't get stuck every time you use the stupid thing? There's $1 million idea right there. Bam, there we go. I'll just saw this out here with the sawzall right quick and we'll be all set. Bam. Well, one side cleaned up nice, so I'm just going to work this other side, clean this up here a little bit, and then we'll set it back in the truck. Well, it looks pretty good on the cutout there. I just kept sanding it and got the edges all rounded down smooth here, and it makes a nice little shape. And somehow I'm going to mount that lid up here on top, but at least there's a little bit of finger room to get around, get the lid off, get the cap off like that. So that shouldn't be too bad. This cut's going to be a lot deeper because of the board being this far apart, right? Alright, there we go. So I'm about 2 1/8 apart. So I've got to come at least 2 1/8 up into here, and then 2 1/8 plus whatever this is. 2 1/8 plus a half. So 2 5/8 should get me there. Well, I screwed up just a little bit. My one hole saw it walked on me and it drilled this hole an eighth inch or a quarter inch almost farther away. So I had to straighten the other hole out to make a match. I think it's going to be alright because when the lid's on it, nobody's going to see it. And it actually gives me a little bit more finger room to get the cap off on this side. So if I was going to do anything, I'd make this hole bigger, obviously because I can't put material back. But anyways, here we go. We got both boards on, so now we can lay out the rest of these boards and go from there. Bam, look at this. Over halfway there. A little bit of gaposis here. The sides of these things aren't exactly true here and there from the sawmill because they're just rough sawn. If we're doing finish work here, building a $100,000 show truck, I'd run these all in the joiner and stuff and get them perfect. But we're just doing the beat up floor of the shop truck, so this is more than perfect. A little bit of gaposis to let water run out of it and stuff. And I'm going to polyurethane all these so they'll be weather protected. Alright, bam, look at that. All done. So everything lays in here nice. It measures out nice. And it looks real good in here. So I think my next step is to cut all these boards off in the back. And some are touching, so allow me to close up some of these gaps just a little bit more. So I'm going to take a break for a second, go get a drink. Then I'm going to come back and cut all these off, I guess. Okay, so I trimmed the boards off back here at the tailgate. It fits pretty good. I've also taken my pencil and I drew a line across and I've marked the center where all the carriage bolts are going to go. So this thing is ready to drill, I think. I'm going to put the clamps back on to hold the back of it tight. And then I think I'm going to drill this center section first and get the bolts in there just to hold it. And then drill the front and then drill the rear section last. So I got everything drilled, got the, carriage bolts stuck down here, not hammered into the wood yet because I haven't sanded these and any of that, but I just wanted to lock the boards into the bolts. And I also want to fill in the gaps on the side of the bed floor here. But I got a feeling that I've been doing this for a long time, since I literally been doing it all day, and that's as far as I got. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. I think I'm going to break it in half here. So we're going to do a two-parter on putting the floor and all that jazz in the Model A hot rod shop truck. This is part one, the fabrication, the roughing it out, getting it all fixed out. And part two is going to be cutting this access door, getting that functional, filling in these dead spaces. I think we're going to add a stake pocket board to both sides of the bed to raise this up a little bit, kind of like they always did with these trucks back in the day. And then get this thing sanded and polyurethane and put in here finally for the final time. So that's going to be part two. This is the end of part one. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Hit the bell for alerts. Tell your friends. And we'll see you right back here at the Quick Speed Shop looking for part two and putting the wood floor in the bed on the Model A hot rod shop truck.